Hey yo, what the hell is going on, you guys? It's your boy, it's me, aceox.
Yeah. Yes. It's me, aceox.
Yeah, I'm back with another reaction. I'm a little bit sick, so if my voice sounds a bit rough around the edges, then that's, cause I'm still sick, fucking illness. So yeah, today we're gonna react to or watch The Internet's Darkest Corners 5 by Nick Crowley. Gonna scroll down a bit so I can see. That's Nick Crowley right here. And yeah, so this is gonna be a little bit different, because up to this point I reacted to mostly funny videos, and this one, this type of series is usually pretty dark and grim and serious, yeah. So, before we start, two quick things. First of all, hopefully I managed to fix the freezing issue I had in the last reaction, and hopefully this one goes, smoothly without a hitch for once. That would be nice. And the other thing I wanted to mention before we start is, just to brighten up the mood a little bit, lighten the load that's gonna probably go back down to serious and dark as soon as we start watching the video. So I was thinking, if I punch someone in the boob, does it hurt just as much as it would if there wasn't a boob, or do the boobas, dampen the pain? That's something I've been thinking about. Yeah, I have no answer for that, so I don't know, but maybe, we start with a smile and quickly lose faith in humanity while watching the video. I don't know. Alright, enough yapping. I already spent 6.5 minutes just yapping. Yeah, so let's just start, and if you see me smile and it doesn't make sense, don't be, don't think like this dude is crazy, because for some reason either the face rig thinks my, neutral face looks like I'm smiling, and sometimes it looks, it seems to think that my neutral face looks like it's frowning. So if someone, I don't know, dies, and for some reason this dumbass fish right here starts to smile, that's not me, I swear. Alright? I know it sounds stupid, but it's actually, I don't know what the fuck this program's problem is. So let's just start and see what we got in store for us with The Internet's Darkest Corners 5. Yeah. Begin, bitch.
Cincinnati 911.
It's 3:16 p.m. on April 10th, 2018. A 911 operator receives a call from 16-year-old Kyle Plush, who had just
we're starting off
a freak accident. In the minutes prior to this call, Kyle had just arrived at the Seven Hill School in Cincinnati, Ohio for a tennis match. He had been driving a 2004 Honda Odyssey, a minivan that featured 3 rows of seating, with his gear for the day's match being stored in the very back.
Wait, a
In order to
14-year-old
retrieve it, Kyle climbed
driving
to the
a
back
car
of the vehicle and reached over the 3rd row seating, extending his body as far as it could go in order to grab his equipment, when suddenly the seat's folding mechanism was engaged, causing it to collapse into its storage position, taking Kyle with it. In an instant, he was pinned and completely unable to move, as he was now trapped in the car upside down, not even being able to move his arms and hands enough to grab his cell phone, though luckily his phone had Siri, which he would call out to call the police.
Hey, that's some good thinking. I probably wouldn't have even considered something like using Siri or something.
Where are you? I can't hear you.
While on the phone, Kyle couldn't hear anything given how far away he was from the device, but he stated as clearly as he could that he was in dire need of help. Due to the position he was stuck in, he was already struggling to breathe, and he knew he was likely not going to survive much longer, which he made very clear to the operator.
Jesus, what you got?
Hello?
Less than 1 minute later,
if the
call-
video just stopped, don't get spooked. I think it tried to load an ad, but skipped it somehow. I don't know what's going on with that. But Jesus, man, we're starting off pretty dark. First, I thought he got kidnapped, but no, he is in just as bad as a situation. Man, that's Jesus. We're starting really fucked up, man. I did not expect that. Usually it doesn't start that dark. At least I had the impression that was the case. Yeah. See, right now I'm not smiling, but the model is smiling. So let's just continue and hope he makes it somehow. But something that I don't quite understand is, why is he driving a van? He's 14. So it's definitely a strange situation.
Would cut out. In the recording, Kyle clearly portrayed to the operator where he was, that he couldn't hear her, and that his life was in danger, which prompted her to immediately send a patrol car over to the school in search of him, though inexplicably, she never told the officers that Kyle believed he was going to die.
Well, that's shit. Why not? Why did she? I mean, that should be the first thing.
Not understanding how dire the situation was, the officers that pulled up to the scene didn't even bother to stop the car. Instead, they simply drove throughout the parking lot, unsure of what car was Kyle's. They didn't even bother to turn down their music or crack a window.
God damn it.
Seemingly being more interested in the types of cars that other students were driving.
These kids drive better cars than you do.
Hey, he has no
As
idea
officers
how
continued
dire
their
the
half-hearted
situation is.
search,
That's
another phone call would be made to 911.
God
It was
damn it,
Kyle,
man.
whose tone was now drastically different.
I probably don't have much time left to tell my mom that I love her if I die.
Oh, Jesus.
This is not a joke.
After Kyle says his goodbyes, he tries one more time to relay what was happening, this time providing the parking lot he was in, along with the exact make and model of his car.
This is not a joke. I'm trapped inside my gold Honda Odyssey van in the Southwood parking lot at 7 Hills Theft. Send officers immediately. I'm almost dead.
At this point,
Jesus,
officers
man.
were still in the parking lot looking for him. Help was literally just a few feet away, and on top of this, the operator was also able to get a ping from Kyle's phone, which gave coordinates to his exact location, within just 5 to 10 feet of his vehicle. And yet, the dispatcher never passed this information along.
Why?
As Kyle remained on the line fighting for his life, the officers on the scene would pull out of the parking lot, close their report, and carry on with their day, stating,
Jesus, man.
"I don't see nobody," which I didn't imagine I would. With this line making it apparent that those involved with the case never actually believed this situation was real, and instead
God damn it,
viewed
man.
it all as a hoax.
Jesus.
Just minutes later, Kyle would go quiet.
I hope the operator gets life in prison for that. And I'm not even joking, because, even if someone made a fucked up joke like that, or, was trying to prank them or something, you have to take it serious. Because, even in the small chance that it is, happening, you're risking a life. If lives depend on you, then you gotta be dependable. You gotta take shit serious. And, act accordingly. That kid is dead because of you. That's really upsetting. That's extremely upsetting. And let me guess. Since it's the police, they're not gonna, get a harsh sentence. They're probably just gonna, lose their job, and that's it. Because that's unfortunately happening a lot. That law enforcement fucks up real bad, sometimes even on purpose, and they just get, a slap on the wrist. And it's so frustrating every single time, man. Poor kid, man.
And the phone would disconnect for a final time. It would take
That's so fucked up.
6 hours for that trunk to be opened. And
6
not by the
hours.
police, but instead by Kyle's father, who had no idea that any of this had taken place, seeking out his...
It gets worse. They didn't even tell him. What the fuck? And I saw the date of the call. That was 2018. That's not too long ago, you know?
His son's vehicle, only to find Kyle flipped upside down in the trunk. He had been dead for hours.
Not only wasn't the father or the family informed of the call, the 2 calls that happened, he also had to unfortunately find his dead son. Just how cruel of a situation that is. Just think about that.
Despite the circumstances, Kyle did everything right. He remained calm, he was respectful, and he described exactly where he was and what his car looked like. And yet, the police never really bothered to take his case seriously, instead believing that this was all just a prank. And had the dispatcher simply relayed how serious the situation was, and had these officers just gotten out of their car to look more thoroughly, Kyle Plush most likely would have survived.
Yeah, this could have been prevented, but...
As a result of the mishandling of Kyle's case, his parents, Jill and Ron, were awarded a $6 million settlement with the city of Cincinnati. Though even more importantly for the couple, they vowed to do their part to assure that mishandled 911 calls of this nature never happen again, as they've gone on to consult with various emergency call centers to tell Kyle's story, somehow taking this horrible accident and selflessly turning it into something positive for the rest of society.
You know, big props definitely to the family, the mother and the father, and they're definitely strong, that's without a doubt, but a 6 million settlement, so I'm guessing no punishment for the operator. That's my guess. And yeah, it's quite a lot of money, but you know, a human life is, you can't quantify it in money. So in my opinion, there isn't enough money you could pay someone. Prayers go out to the family. Sorry for your loss, and I'm sorry that the police are such negligent bastards.
Today, these phone calls remain relics of a grave error made by law enforcement, and a life that never should have been lost, with these recordings now being forever immortalized in the internet's darkest corners.
That's also something, I'm sorry I keep pausing, but now it's immortalized on the internet, and they gotta have to live with that as well, you know, knowing that they could stumble upon it, hear the son's last words, that's just, and be reminded of it all over again. It's just, that just goes to show how sometimes life can be extremely unfair. Alright, let's continue and hope the other ones, let's hope that this isn't, you know, the baseline for this video.
Clearly shows the metamorphosis possible using computer graphics. We're going to play a game.
Is it hide and seek?
Yes, it's hide and seek.
I am sick and devastated.
Well, that's one hell of an intro, that's for sure. Alright, chapter 2, hide and seek.
It's April 4th, 2020. A man living in Baltimore, Maryland,
Okay,
goes live on his Facebook page, and
I know this one. I heard the entire story already. I immediately knew hide and seek, a guy from Baltimore. Yeah, let's continue.
announcing that tonight would be another one of his famous game nights. At this time, the COVID lockdown was in place all across the United States, and practically everyone was cooped up indoors, with little opportunity for real socialization. But for 24-year-old Ernest Wilson and his friends, this didn't stop them from having a good time.
Yeah, they kept having these parties and stuff like that.
Featuring childhood games like Monopoly and Uno, adding in his adult flair by turning them into drinking games, with one game in particular being top of mind that night: hide and seek. The evening began with Ernest inviting his Facebook friends to the function, letting them know that this time the game night would be held at an Airbnb rather than in his home, though he never gave out the address, as this was a closed invitation event, which he made very clear on his page. Please don't show up with nobody I didn't personally invite if we didn't discuss it first. They're going to get left outside. Ernest took this so seriously that at one point he even called out one of his viewers, stating outright that they were not allowed to show up under any circumstances.
You're not invited. You're not pulling up on me. The person who just joined. If you're still watching, you're not invited. Because you don't fucking listen, and I'm gonna bang you in your mouth next time.
However...
And that's the mistake you made. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I think you can guess where this is gonna go.
It was never revealed who exactly this person was, or why Ernest expressed such hostility towards them. From there, Ernest would start and stop his live stream a few.
By the way, now I'm laughing, but it's not because of the video, it's because I just saw what my character did, my model did when I took a sip from my cup. Look at this. Jeez, it's nothing. Alright, okay, come on, focus. There's no time for stupid jokes like that. Jesus. Okay, continue.
Different times, showing the progression of the party, which ended up with a decent turnout.
You know, it's just awful, you know, people having fun and it ends
there being no signs of slowing down.
So dramatically, so awfully.
About to play hide and seek. This was the caption for Ernest's final live stream of the night, which shows his group of friends preparing to play the game, turning off all the lights in the house before Ernest himself steps outside, assuming the role of the Seeker, beginning his countdown as the camera keeps rolling.
Yep.
What?
Real quick, one thing that makes the story even crazier is the fact that it's, you know, recorded, that it's all on the recording, because you'll see in a second how unexpectedly far it goes. But yeah, you're not gonna see this coming.
5,
I promise you,
6,
because it's
7,
really unexpected.
9,
But you see.
10, 11, 12, 13. I can hear y'all. 14, 15. I can see y'all. 16, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Because I'm tired of fucking counting. Ready or not, here I come.
After a long 30 seconds, it was time to find his friends, with Ernest starting his search inside the home.
Ain't nobody in this bathroom. I didn't think about it. Fuck. Oh, alright.
I think what makes it even creepier is the fact that it, you know, that they turned off the lights and it's all dark. That
Until he notices something.
I wouldn't want to be him. You know, not just with what happened, but also, you know, searching
I'm on your ass.
for people, you know, in the
According
dark.
to Ernest, someone was trying to get in through the front door, unaware that he had just locked it. And assuming that this was one of the people he was looking for, he took off to the backyard, believing that's where he would find them. And sure enough, he did.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Who the f is that, G? I don't know. Get your dumb ass on the other side of this gate.
That was, you know, and that's what happens.
Ernest flips the camera around, revealing a man hopping over a gate to the backyard. He had no idea who this person was, but he seemed to assume that they were likely just trying to get into the party, not really taking it too seriously, hence his joking attitude. Though his attitude would soon shift drastically.
Dumbass nigga. This can't be one of my friends.
Yep, and now it's too late.
Up on the ground.
Hey, Pride! Pull that shit up!
In this moment, Ernest's live stream cuts off, and he would never go live again.
Yep, and that's what
According to
happened.
those at the
What
party,
happened
This unknown
in this.
man hopped the fence and brandished a gun, stating,
Just, you know, just imagine this. You know, that's. Did you expect it to go this far? You know, that some guy shows up to the party that's not supposed to be there, pissed off at you, jumping the fucking fence with a gun and killing you? That's, you know, that's so scary, because it just shows how far some people are willing to go just because they got a little bit insulted or something. But you know, I don't know if it was just an insult, or, you know, it wasn't even an insult. It was just, you know, saying, you know, don't come here or I'm gonna punch you, you know. And, you know, to escalate it to this extent is just, it's scary, you know. It just shows you don't know what other people are capable of, what are evil things.
that he was there to rob the place, being followed by one other person whom the group also failed to recognize. Ernest tried his best to run, but was eventually caught in the house, where after a few minutes, and for reasons unknown, the man seen hopping the fence fired his weapon, striking Ernest twice and ending his life. The killers quickly fled the scene without harming anyone else, or seemingly without even taking anything.
And that's the thing, you know. I don't know if it's a fact, but I think it was a fact that this guy wasn't there. You know, him and his accomplice weren't there to actually rob the place, because it's, you know, it's pretty obvious what they came here for.
The footage is highly disturbing, knowing that we're witnessing the final moments of a man who was just having some fun with his friends. But what makes this so much darker is that we have no idea who this person is, or why they did what they did. Even after 4.5 years, Ernest Wilson's killers have yet to be identified.
Jesus. I think it's pretty obvious, you know, that they are either connected to the person who was, you know, in the chat, or maybe some other type of enemies. But they're definitely they didn't go there to rob the place, because, you know, they didn't rob the place. They killed him and left, and that's, you know, that's pretty obvious. In my opinion, that was a hit. Yeah, and that's just how far some people are willing to go if their brittle ego is bruised even just a bit, and that's kind of scary, you know.
Detectives working on the case have theorized that this was likely a robbery gone wrong, potentially spurred on by Ernest's posting habits, as, to put it bluntly, he was a drug dealer, as on his Facebook page he often showed off huge amounts of his product, including during a live stream he did on the very day of this party. And also on the same day, Ernest had made a post about how much cash he had on him, essentially putting a target on his back. Online, some have theorized that this botched robbery...
I know I keep pausing, but you know what? Let's just accept the fact that I'm gonna keep yapping. You know, if there's one thing I can definitely recommend to all of you, don't brag about stuff, you know, don't show off, you know, valuable stuff, or how much money you're making, or, you know, what crimes you're committing, like dealing drugs and stuff like that. Because there are always people who are just waiting to, you know, find a target, you know, and if you put yourself, you know, out there like that, you're putting a target on yourself, pretty much on your own free will. So yeah, just don't do it. No one needs to know, you know, how much money you're making. Just, you know, live your life, be happy, spend your money how you want. Don't put it online, because people, they're, you know, online, basically the internet is just a real fucked up cesspool of, you know, a lot of good people, but also easily the worst people that exist on this planet. And, you know, just as much as the good people are looking at you and your content, also, you know, the bad people watch your content and stuff like that, or can stumble upon your content, and you don't want that to happen, trust me. So let's just, you know, stop with this stupid bragging bullshit, and just, you know, keep it to yourself. Share other stuff, you know, like other ways your life is good. Just don't show off something that, you know, people might want to steal, because I can guarantee you on the internet, once you get big enough, those people will know about you, and they're just gonna try to find you, because, you know, now they got a target. Now they know this dude has a lot of money, has a lot of valuable stuff, and yeah, just, you know, the whole bragging and showing off stuff is just, I never understood it, because especially in rap, you know, especially gangster rap, they used to rap about, you know, how many enemies they have and that they're constantly hunted and stuff, and then you show off money and invite also, you know, aside from your ops, you invite other criminals into your life as well to, you know, try and take from you, because you've just proven that you're valuable with all the stuff you got and stuff like that. It's just, you know, it doesn't compute in my brain. It's, yeah, don't do that. Just don't do that, man. Never assume what the other person might be capable of, because sometimes there are some people that don't have any lines they could cross, because, you know, that just, you know, that they're willing to go all the way and don't feel anything, you know, don't feel any way about it.
robbery may have been committed by the person that entered Ernest's live stream earlier that night, which caused him to have that intense reaction.
You're not invited. You're not pulling up on me.
Yes, I know. My model freaked out again because I took a sip from my cup. That's really unfortunate that happens today, because the other times it didn't happen. Fucking shit, man. Alright, now get the haha funny nodding A6 jokes out of my head and focus on, you know, the severity of this stuff right here.
Because you don't fucking listen, I'm gonna bang you in your mouth next time.
Though to my knowledge, this person has never actually been tracked down. But by far,
that's something that's quite confusing, because, you know, it's not that, I mean, it would be a lot more difficult to find someone, you know, without any leads, but they have a lead. They could, you know, investigate this person and see if they did it or if someone they're connected to did it, but they didn't even, you know, check the person. Is just, why? Are you trying to make it a lot harder to solve the case? You know, I don't get it.
Far the most common sentiment online was that Ernest's friends were involved to some capacity, as none of them were injured and none of their possessions were taken, making it clear that at the very least this crime was targeted at the host. And on top of this, remember, Ernest never shared the address for that Airbnb, at least not publicly. And yet, these people just so happened to show up to the home at the exact moments that Ernest was by himself in the dark. And perhaps most chillingly, as the robbery is unfolding, you can hear one of Ernest's friends chuckling in the background.
This can't be one of my friends.
Up on the ground.
Though as concerning as this is, it's sadly far...
Yeah, but I'm not willing to go that far and say that person was involved, because I could easily see, you know, that they, you know, I mean, the guests also didn't know what the hell was going on, just as much as the host, you know. So maybe she thought, you know, he found a guy and now he's trying to tackle him to run away and hide again or something like that, and that made her laugh. So I think judging on that is, you know, that's a bit too far. I think that's I don't think that person is involved. But yeah, I'm not sold. Let's put it like that. I'm not sold. The laughter from the person signifies that this person is involved.
Far from conclusive, and to this day it appears that Ernest's case is slowly being lost to time, leaving us for now with only questions, and one of the more disturbing live streams I've ever seen.
That's something I think happens a lot, but I mean that someone who is a criminal, if you're a drug dealer, you're a criminal, that, you know, if they get murked, usually if it's not a, you know, a big well-known person, usually there isn't a lot of interest to find who did it, for the feds at least. So I'm not surprised that they don't show a lot of interest in solving the case, because that's unfortunately kind of, you know, a running theme, sort of, you know, criminals. Alright, next one. Let's see if I know this one as well. Hopefully not.
For our next case, I want to first thank today's video sponsor,
Alright.
Factor.
Factor.
I have a very bad habit when it comes to ordering food. I usually don't give myself
okay,
enough time to
it's
plan
one
meals
of
for the
those
week,
services.
And therefore, when it comes time for dinner, I'm always left scrambling trying to find something, which usually leads to me ordering food and ordering really unhealthy food too. It's a bad habit, but thanks to Factor,
Yeah,
I'm
me too,
slowly starting to
sometimes.
kick it. Factor provides chef-prepared, ready-to-eat meals that are always fresh and never frozen. There's no stress, there's no prep work, just 2 minutes in the microwave and they're ready to go. And these meals really are restaurant quality and honestly even more delicious than what I was ordering before anyway. Not to mention way healthier. But my favorite thing about Factor is the time I get back, as I'm not wasting my time and taking half an hour to figure out what I want to eat. It's all right there for me and ready to go. You just have to pick how many meals you want, and just like that, you have most, if not all of your meals planned for the entire week. And you can even pause or reschedule your deliveries at any time with no stress. And what's really cool is Factor is now owned by HelloFresh, which just so happens to be one of my favorite sponsors of all time. And now that I'm eating real food, I'm excited to get back to cooking
That explains it,
with HelloFresh too. So definitely try either one of these out, or both, depending on what your situation is. If you want to try try out Factor, head to factor75.com or click the link in the description and use code NickCrowley50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code NickCrowley50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month of orders.
Alright, you heard the man. If you're interested, do that. Just, go in the video description of this video and click on the link to get to the original video, and then, click his links or use a code and stuff like that. I'm not gonna... I was about to say something about the portion size, but I figured, what? I'm not gonna, criticize any of that, Let the man get his bag. It's not my... I don't have a right to shit talk his sponsors. So yeah. Okay, that was a sponsor. So you know what to do. If you're interested, let's continue. Let's see what else.
As evidenced by the previous case and several others discussed throughout the series, live streams are often a hotbed for disturbing moments online. And when researching Ernest's final stream, I came across yet another example of just how dark things can get when the cameras go live. It happened on January 22nd.
Alright, now I'm intrigued.
When a 14-year-old girl named Naika Venant went on Facebook Live with a caption.
Jesus.
In the stream, Naika discussed how difficult life had been. Throughout the years, she had been placed in and out of countless foster homes, where her treatment ranged from poor to straight up abusive, with this constant mistreatment leading her to just want it to be over already. And based on the title of the stream, it was clear what her intentions were going to be. As the livestream progressed, hundreds of people flooded into the video to see what exactly was going on, as word quickly spread that something horrible was about to happen. Though you wouldn't...
That's something... I don't get these types of situations. I know it happened a bunch of times, unfortunately already, where people, are about to take their own lives live, and for some reason people flock to the live streams, and instead of trying to stop it or, trying to help the person, the majority just watches or even eggs them on. And that's just... I get that a lot of humans lust for blood and stuff like that, but that's just, a child is about to kill herself and you're just gonna watch. I don't get it, like someone out there has to, watch it as well and think to themselves, what, maybe I should try and help and stop this. Especially, hundreds of viewers. There has to be at least one, and that's what doesn't compute in my brain.
Know it by looking at the chat. According to many watching, those in the comments had no sympathy for the girl, as many actually mocked her, calling her names and even commented laughing emojis, as she desperately tried to open up, with those same commenters viewing this not as a cry for help, but as a cry for attention, outright pushing her to carry on with these intentions. And tragically,
fucking
she did.
Disgusting human beings.
Remained rolling. However, even after she followed through with this, the behavior of her chats didn't stop. Whether they assumed it was fake or just didn't care either way, the hateful barrage of insults actually got even more vile once she had obviously passed away. And this went past just words, as people who knew her actually began making parody videos of the girl, replicating the position she was dead in, all while her livestream continued running.
What the fuck?
It would take over an hour before police would finally be called and retrieve her body, with the stream being shut down by Facebook shortly before. It was an awful...
What the fuck is wrong with people?
But what I found most saddening about this was her final reason for doing what she did, as she stated simply that she just wanted to be with her real mother, who she loved so dearly. And this was something that seemed to be the plan all along, as her mother, Gina Alexis, claimed that she too desperately wanted to be reunited with her daughter. And following her daughter's highly publicized death, Gina actually came forward at a news conference to discuss the tragedy.
Huh? Hold on, what?
Her biological mother broke down while speaking about her daughter's death. She dreamed of one day being reunited permanently.
I have trusted Florida foster care people to care for my baby.
Where she blamed the entire foster care system for everything that had happened, believing that they didn't do a good enough job of keeping her daughter safe.
Wait, there's something really... I don't know if the word is appropriate in the situation, but something sus is going on. There's something to this story that's not as obvious at first, I think. There's something definitely going on. Hold on.
And they failed to try and reunite her with Naika. Because of the obvious emotion involved and the overall shocking nature of this case, the news report would quickly go viral, leading to widespread support for the grieving mother. However, this also caused some people to look a bit deeper into what exactly led up to this livestream, for which one piece of information was brought to light that somehow made this case even more upsetting.
I have a bad feeling that the mother is involved, you know, with the extreme decision of her daughter taking her life to be permanently reunited with her. I have a really bad hunch about that. I just, you know, I hope it's not. I hope I'm wrong, but, you know, just continue.
It was revealed that her mother was actually in the stream watching before and after it happened, seeing her own daughter having this mental breakdown, as well as seeing all those people in the chat mocking her, which made people feel even more sorry for Gina, as her plight was unimaginable. Though this wasn't the only revelation to come forward.
That doesn't sound good.
By the investigators looking into Naika's case, that Gina had not only witnessed all of these people laughing at her daughter and egging her into ending her life, but she had also joined them as well.
Fucking disgusting human being. I knew it. I fucking knew it. You know, there's a special place in hell for those types of people. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Your own child. You're doing that shit to your own child. You fucking degenerate piece of shit. I can't believe it. This is really... I'm trying not to get too emotional right now, but this is really fucking me up right now. This is really pissing me off. Let's just continue. I'm really trying hard to not scream at my screen, you know, at this fucking degenerate piece of shit person right here. How can you do that to your own child? That's not even psycho behavior. That's just sadist behavior, you know? That's the behavior of human waste. You know, the poor girl. I hope she's in a better place. It's just really extremely upsetting. That's fucked up beyond anything I can even comprehend.
Hashtag ADHD games played, you sad little DCF custody. That's why you are where you're at. For this dumb shit and more, you keep crying wolf. You dead, you will get buried, life goes on, after that doesn't listen to their parents, trying to be grown, seeking boys and girls' attention instead of her books. In a live stream where one of the last things Naika ever said was that she desperately wanted to be reunited with her mother, that same mother was not only watching, but actively pushing her to follow through on her plans, leaving this comment where she outright says that it doesn't matter if you live or die, life goes on. And it got even worse. The media also discovered that the reason Naika had been removed from her custody to begin with was because Gina had beaten her 30 plus times with a belt when she was only 6 years old. On top of this, Gina often...
6 years old. She's a true sadist. Oh, this makes me angry, man. This makes me so fucking angry. Alright, let's just continue before I...
texted Naika saying that she wanted nothing to do with her, despite the young girl frequently reaching out and begging to be part of her life. Eventually, Gina would tell Naika's caseworker that the girl is y'all's problem, I'm done with the games, before sending Naika middle finger emojis when all she did was ask to see her brother. And this is all amongst other things that are far more horrendous that I really don't want to get into. And yet, after Naika's death...
Hold on. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? You know what? I hope the mother and also the mother's lover and everyone in that chat, you know what? Gets a life sentence. You know, usually with fucking psychopaths, I'm usually on the side of the death penalty people, but not in this case. Not in extreme cases like that, because I want them, I really hope they suffer in the worst fucking disgusting piece of shit jail for the rest of their goddamn lives and then suffer for all eternity in hell, or even worse in hell. That's the only thing those disgusting human beings deserve. Nothing else, no quick death or anything. Just prolonged suffering for all the suffering they fucking put a child through.
That are far more horrendous that I really don't want to get into. And yet, after Naika's death, Gina had the audacity to go on television in an attempt to garner sympathy for a death that she clearly contributed to, saying that all she wanted was to be the girl's mother, despite rejecting her at every...
Absolute narcissistic piece of shit. Pathetic. What a fucking waste of a human life. This one right here deserves nothing but the worst.
...turn. And honestly, this is where I thought this entire story would come to an end, until I noticed something strange when I was editing this video. Naika's Facebook page is still active. It's no longer posting anything original, but instead, the account is consistently reposting content from another page, a page run by Gina. After Naika's death, Gina seemingly seized control of the young girl's Facebook account, where she now posts her own content, which includes her attempting to defend the fact that she gave up on Naika.
Tell me what mother would accept a 13 going on 14-year-old in and out of detention centers, going
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
As well as her...
Shut the fuck up, you narcissistic piece of shit. Why does she even accept... What the fuck? Did she even get punished? Did she even get punished at all? This is... Let's just get this fucking shit over with. This is getting worse and worse and worse. What the fuck is the legal system doing, man? What the hell? I'm really getting really fucking pissed off right now. This is insanity. Absolute insanity.
Responding to those who blamed her for her daughter's death.
People be like, you heard the rumors going around about you? And I did.
Shut the fuck up.
Tell you one thing. That I don't give a fuck. What's my name? My first name is very much. My last name is unbothered.
And even some posts where she's promoting her...
No, the first name is Waste, your middle name is Off, and your two last names are Human Life. That's your name, bitch.
Podcast. As it seems that after all this, Gina's actually trying to carve out some sort of career as an influencer.
Disgusting
as she
fucking
posts videos
freak.
garnering sympathy for the loss of her daughter, along with giving out parenting advice.
Like, there's so much
Go fuck
stuff
yourself.
that parents need to do for their child that they're not motherfucking doing. They're not paying attention because they're...
Yeah. Talk about yourself, bitch. How is she still free? Fucking lock up this bitch and throw away the key. What the hell? Seriously, what is the justice system doing? How can they let this shit keep going like that, you know? I don't understand. Unbelievable. Fucking unbelievable.
taking the easy way out.
Yeah, like you, bitch.
Even more obvious that Gina has little to no remorse for what she did.
Yeah, she's just a piece of shit. You know, stuff like that just goes to show that the people that, you know, deserve all the good things in life usually, unfortunately, have to suffer and have that taken away from them. And those that don't deserve it, those that actively make other people's lives worse, like this, you know, human waste of a mother, usually they, you know, get to walk free and enjoy life, fucking completely undeserved. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. You know, the only hope I have in this case is if the justice system isn't doing its thing, then hopefully someone else might, you know, take it into their own hands. I didn't think that, you know, could get any worse than from the first story, but here we are. This is an absolute new low of what people are capable of. It's just in life being fucked up. Alright, chapter 4, let's see. Masha.
On the 11th of June 2009, a young man named Eugene Latta took to an urban exploration forum and wrote in broken English, "Hello, I'd like to tell you about Odessa Catacomb."
Alright, before we continue with that, hopefully this is just, you know, some creepy stuff, a creepy story or something like that, because if this, there is no way it can get worse, and I hope it doesn't, because the last part was just there are so many things I'd love to say out of absolute frustration and rage at the person, but you know, it's not gonna do any good. It's just, you know, it's so unfair that she gets to, you know, live her life is so undeserved, while her, you know, her daughter, her child had to suffer. You know, her daughter is the only one in that story that actually deserved to live a happy, good life, and she didn't get that, all because of those fucking sick people. It's... I need a break. I gotta take a break. I'll be back, but I gotta calm down. Yeah. This is just... In the beginning of the video I said I'm fascinated by the dark things in life, but I have, you know, lines that, you know, where things go just too far, even for me. And, you know, everything involved with children is just, that's my line, you know. That's where, you know, I'm not even fascinated to know, you know, how depraved people can get in that scenario, because that's something I just really don't want to know, because it just makes me so angry. It's fucked up, man. Alright, what's up? I'm back. Yeah, my yapping continued for so long that I actually, you know, had to take a longer break at an appointment. Yeah, now I'm back. I'm more level-headed right now, and let's continue. We are almost done. Only this story and the next one, and then yeah. So we got Masha. That's where we left off. Something about Odessa catacombs. So maybe this one is going to be a bit more creepy or something like that. Hopefully, you know, to get a break from all the depressing and anger-inducing stuff. But let's see.
Odessa is not far from the capital of Ukraine, Kiev. Under Odessa consists the biggest catacombs in the world. Their total length is more than 2,500 kilometers, so these catacombs are much bigger than the Paris catacombs. During World War II, a lot of citizens were hiding in the catacombs. A lot of them used to live there for a year and more, so even today it is possible to find weapons, equipment, and even dead bodies. Every year a lot of explorers get lost and even die there. His post was accompanied by a series of photographs from the underground labyrinth, which stretched over 1,500 miles, its paths winding aimlessly deep below the surface of the earth. The structure was mainly the result of limestone mining many years ago, though despite this, it was never properly mapped, and was, conversely, not often explored, essentially being a pitch-black maze to nowhere. Given that the area wasn't well known back in '09, the post was met with amazement. Fellow urban explorers applauded the location and the photographs that Lata had taken, wanting to see even more, and since he was a native of the area, Lata delivered.
That's a mistake.
Thanks to all. If you want, I can add more photos. As I said earlier, a lot of people get lost and even die under Odessa. Maybe this photo will shock you. It's the dead body of a 19-year-old girl who had gotten lost in the maze. Though it's censored here, the image shows 3 young boys staring blankly at the camera as they stand behind a badly decomposed body.
Okay, it's decomposed. Because for a second I was like, sure that it didn't kill her, but if it's already decomposed, then maybe they, you know, just found it. That hopefully those dudes aren't murderers.
Understandably, this image caused a lot of intrigue on the forum, as other users began to press for more information, and sure enough, it was a story that Lata knew well.
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year, everybody! Happy 2005!
2005.
It was New Year's Eve, the final day of 2004, when a group of teenagers made their way down into the catacombs to begin their celebration. This wasn't super uncommon at the time, as many of the entrances to this labyrinth were very easily accessible. This
you know, I get the appeal of exploring, you know, abandoned things and creepy things, you know, for the sake of exploring it, but going down there, I don't know, to party or something, why? Why are you, you know, people really need to respect these types of places for what they are. They are dangerous places, you know. If you don't know, you know, where it goes and leads and whatever the fuck, then you can easily get lost. And if you get lost and can't find your way out, you're gonna die. So, and also, you know, it could collapse and crumble and bury you. So some people are just don't respect it enough. And that's something I can't relate to, because if you go exploring, I assume you respect the danger it comes with enough you know, to justify you going there. But, you know, going there unprepared, not knowing anything about it or anything, you know, essentially to party or something, that's basically just asking for trouble, you know. So I can't relate to that. That's just mind-boggling. I've said that word way too many times in this video, but you know, all of these things are mind-boggling. So yeah, that's the way I see it. I get the appeal, but if you're not going there with the right mindset and the proper precautions and stuff like that, then just don't. You're gonna die. Do you want to die? I don't think so. Then don't do stupid shit like that, man.
In particular, just so happened to be located directly next to the public school, School 56, and had just been left wide open, making it the perfect place for friends to sneak a few drinks. As the group began to grow more intoxicated,
why did no one close it?
Wandered off in search of a place to relieve herself. However, she apparently took one too many turns and soon found herself completely alone.
See, that's what I...
The tunnels were just too complicated.
That's what I said.
Each step she took led her more and more into obscurity. Her friends tried to find her, or maybe they didn't, we really don't know. But in their drunken state, they left the tunnels without their friend, and never went back to find her. If she did have a flashlight, it wouldn't have lasted long, and for days she likely wandered deliriously through that pitch-black maze, until after what was likely at least 3 awful days, she passed away, with her body being found approximately 3 miles away from the nearest exit. In looking at one of the only attempted maps of this tunnel system, she never stood a chance.
Holy shit.
Perhaps it was dehydration or hypothermia that...
Look at that. If you want to go to places you have no reason to be, dangerous places, at least look up first, you know, what it looks like from above, or in this case, you know, look up the tunnel system itself, and just look at this, you know. And if you look at this, you know, this right here tells you everything you need to know, which is stay the fuck away from that. Good luck trying to find your way out of something like this alone in the dark. You're not making it, you know. You gotta be extremely lucky, and unfortunately she wasn't. So don't take dumb ass risks like that. Do some research first and let the things you find discourage you from going there all willy-nilly, all unprepared and stuff like that. Your life is going to thank you for it, because you'll be alive, you know, and not dead. It's dumb, but unfortunately, you know, she's 19. People, I mean, I was 19 once too, you know. You're still really dumb at that age, so
she never stood a chance.
Yep.
Perhaps it was dehydration or hypothermia that killed her, but according to some, based on the photo, the corpse appears to have its skull caved in, implying that in a desperate attempt to end her anguish, she may have bashed her head against the wall until she passed away. Her name was Masha, and she was only 19 years old.
Ooh, this is heavy.
Later, in April of 2005, Lata and his group would stumble across the body, immediately reporting their findings to the police.
Good.
Though law enforcement refused to even try and venture down there in order to retrieve her,
that's not
as
good.
They knew just how dangerous and unmapped this environment was. It would take 2 long years for her body to be...
If the government, shies away from this place, that should be a good example for everyone from there on out to never venture there, like, at all. The quick thrill isn't worth it if you risk dying a slow death, which she, well, looks like she experienced that, so you don't want that, no.
Recovered, thanks to a friend of Lata writing a strongly worded letter to the government that included a photo of Masha's body. The story is unimaginable. To be trapped in a place like this with no means of escaping, it has to be the absolute worst way to go. And because of the gruesome nature of this story and the photograph, it spread all throughout the online world, where it became a legendary internet mystery, as even with the added context, many were still left with pressing questions. Were Masha's friends involved in some way with...
Actually, now that I saw the Facebook post, I think I saw the original picture, but not with the context. So, I saw it probably in one of those, 10 chilling photos of stuff they discovered or something like that. Now I know all I need to know about that photo. Yeah, I just realized, because the Facebook post one, I think I saw that one, but uncensored. And yeah, she was decomposed. That's to put it mildly.
With her death, had they abandoned her there on purpose? And did Lata know more than he claimed? But as it turns out, there was one far more pressing question that needed to be answered.
Which is?
In 2015, a full decade after this photo was taken, a journalist named Mike Pearl had picked up the case with the hopes of writing a Halloween article for Vice. And in his research, he made a rather unusual discovery, as according to him, Masha seemingly didn't exist. Pearl was never able to find any verifiable proof that a girl named Masha had ever gone missing in that area. He was also not able...
Wait, so... Alright, so then I guess she's a murder victim, because a skull was caved in. What the fuck? Okay, now it's getting creepy. Cause... So, do her friends exist? Or are they made up as well? Cause... Okay, now I'm getting confused. Alright, let's continue.
To find any death records of anyone by that name either, or even any reports of a body being pulled from the catacombs during this time frame. Something just wasn't adding up, and it got stranger from here. Sometime after the photograph began making its rounds, one of the most prominent explorers of the Odessa catacombs put out a statement on his own website in regards to Masha, which read, "Besides the original photographer, there isn't one person, civilian or law enforcement, that can confirm the story. We believe it is just a practical joke and the corpse is fake." Following this revelation, Pearl was able to track down Lata, who was unable to recount where the body was roughly seen, or even how to get in touch with the other people shown in this photo, none of whom had ever come forward to back his testimony, which makes the credibility of Lata and his story of Masha incredibly shaky at best. However, this is where the crux of the mystery stands today. When looking at these photos, one thing is apparent to me and essentially everyone else who has seen them. The corpse shown seems very real, and matches the decay of the bodies found in similar environments, with that one prominent Odessa explorer eventually deleting his statement.
That's why I said she is definitely decomposed, or was decomposing. Now the questions start to rise, Who are these dudes? Did they kill her? Who is the victim? Where's the body if it wasn't recovered? And who the hell made up that story? And what about the original guy? Looks like we're not gonna get all the answers. There's not a lot left. That's frustrating. I completely bought into the story, but to hear that, the entire, as soon as he mentioned the caved in skull, I thought to myself, there's no way you're gonna do that shit to yourself, by hammering your head against the wall. There's, your own body would prevent it. I'm pretty sure. It's like, holding your breath until you pass out. That's not possible to do it to yourself. And as soon as I heard it, I thought, wait, was she murdered? And now it seems like, my intuition was right, because seems like, she seems to be a murder victim. That's a twist I didn't see coming, because that was the first thing I thought of, and I forgot about, because the story was so convincing. Damn.
At some point over the years, leaving the general consensus that this is in fact a real corpse. But if the story of Masha isn't true, then who is this? Well, we have no idea. It's entirely a mystery. But the reality of the situation is that bodies being found down in these catacombs isn't totally uncommon.
Yeah,
over the years, many explorers have gotten lost down there and suffered.
Yeah, not just explorers. These places are unfortunately also a perfect place to, hide a body. Sometimes I question what the hell goes through people's heads when they make up stuff about stuff they don't know anything about. It's weird. It's weird. So it's just a random body of someone who died, maybe was murdered, and someone made a fake story and stuff about it. That's just weird, man.
Suffered the exact same fate as the story of Masha. But on top of this, these tunnels have also been used by murderers as a dumping ground for their victims' bodies, with either one of these scenarios being possible in this case. Though the frustrating part is that we may never actually know who this person was or how they died, as I and many others have doubts that this body was ever actually recovered, just simply due to lack of public information and news reports about it. And instead, the reality is that this corpse is probably still down there somewhere, and has simply been lost to time, as sections...
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it was, what, 2005? At this point, it's probably completely decomposed by now. So maybe some of the bones are still left, but maybe the teeth, you could maybe identify who that person is by the teeth, but good luck trying to find teeth, you know, in a place like that. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's also something kind of depressing if you think about it, you know. Something happens to you, it doesn't have to be, you know, murder or something. You could, you know, just die, and the thought that no one knows about it, you know, no one who cares about you knows what happened to you, because for them you probably just ran away, or you're lost or kidnapped or something. You're a missing person, you know, and that's, you know, that's kind of sad. And then they'll never find out, they'll never get the closure, because, you know, you're never gonna, you might never going to find her ever again in those tunnels, you know. It's fucked up, not good. Brave statements on this channel, not good.
Of the catacombs have been known to flood and cave in, sealing them off from the outside world.
Yeah, well,
so
that too.
And potentially the rest of time, the story of Masha will remain an internet mystery.
That sucks, man. Alright, chapter 5, Faces.
It's September 1985. A hunter trudges through the wooded terrain of Christie Creek, Montana, on the trail of something big. He had been hunting a large black bear and managed to land a single shot, causing the animal to take off, leaving behind a trail of blood. He followed this trail all throughout the remote region before stumbling across a shallow ditch.
Hold on, why is he hunting a black bear? You know, I get the hunting deer and doe and stuff like that for food, but a bear? Why a bear? Does he want to make, you know, one of those carpets things with the head? You know, the fucking, you know what I mean? The one that still has a head, you know, but is flat otherwise, and like a carpet. Why is he hunting a black bear? That's what I'm mostly interested in right now.
Though not the body of the bear he had just shot, and rather the body of a woman reduced to bone. The remains were quickly sent off for forensic analysis, though very little could be determined other than the fact that she was a young woman and that she had been murdered, as they found 2 bullet holes in her skull. With there being essentially no other information to go off of, a special team at the FBI started creating a composite of what this woman may have looked like. This was the result.
Oh Jesus, that's...
This was their first attempt at depicting this
fucking creepy,
who they would later dub Christie Crystal Creek, though it wouldn't be their last. The uncanniness of these depictions is undeniable, and recently I've fallen down this rabbit hole of disturbing police sketches and recreations, as though these can often be very helpful and do lead to legitimately good results.
Yeah, but also
there
to
are
nightmares,
where they
you know.
appear almost non-human, with many examples like Christie's being shared online on the FBI's website in order to enlist the public's help in identifying these victims, with one of the more notorious examples coming decades later in 2014. The discovery was made on June 5th of that year, when a group of highway workers were mowing grass in the town of Geneva, Wisconsin, when they noticed a pair of strange-smelling suitcases. Inside them were 2 bodies belonging to 2 women, both in various stages of decomposition, and both appearing to have been strangled to death. One would quickly be identified as 37-year-old Laura Simonson, while the other was in much worse shape, and distinguishing her facial features proved extremely difficult. But this didn't stop them from trying.
Yeah, they should check the dental records. What the fuck?
This is one of the more infamous examples out there, due to just how unnatural it appears, with the face of this woman being turned into a meme and even being used in a video game.
Oh man, that sucks. You know, it's creepy as fuck. I get why they, you know, use it for, you know, creepy content and stuff like that, but Jesus. It's, you know, it's supposed to be a representation of what that person might have looked like, and knowing that she's a murder victim, you know, it's kind of like making sort of fun of her and a spectacle, kind of fucked up. But I mean, I get it. It's extremely creepy looking. That's, you know, nightmare fuel. But yeah, conflicting feelings arise when I think about it. Yeah, conflicting.
But to me, there's one example that I've never been able to shake, as the entire story and its recreation gives me such an uneasy feeling. The discovery was made all the way back in April of 1977, when a couple in Alberta, Canada had returned to their often abandoned cabin in order to empty the septic tank, only to find a body floating inside. The body was in brutal shape and showed signs of extreme torture, as the man had been beaten, mutilated, burned with cigarettes, and even shot multiple times. And due to the condition of the body, it was impossible to identify him, though regardless, a recreation was made, and using a computer model of the man's skull, they slowly pieced him together.
What the fuck? That's... Holy fucking shit.
He would later be dubbed Septic Tank Sam. There's
Why?
Something so depressing about...
Why the fuck are you making their names rhyme? Or in this case, you know, using the same starting fucking letter. That's so fucking disrespecting. You know, the disrespect is insane. Septic Tank Sam, really? You think that's a good name to remember someone by, you know, even if it's a temporary name, for someone who was murdered, mutilated, tortured, stuff like that? That's... Whoever names these is a fucked up person, man. Septic Tank Sam. Go fuck yourself, whoever named, you know, the person with a fucking temporary name. That's, you know, no. At least, I don't know, call him Sam or something, but why, you know, use... It's just...
about these composites, as these are real people with real stories and real names that have been reduced to these horrifying images and tacky nicknames.
Yeah,
but there's another side
exactly.
of these police sketches too, as when dealing with victims it's obviously incredibly sad, but when dealing with suspects, these off-putting identities can be outright horrifying. Over the years there's been numerous unidentified killers who law enforcement were not able to positively identify, forcing them to turn to these same methods of sketching and recreating, with one of the darkest examples being that of the Lake Bodom killer. It was June 5th, 1960. 4 Finnish teenagers were on a camping trip to Lake Bodom, sleeping peacefully in their tent on the lakeshore, when suddenly they were attacked. It happened in an instant, as a man wielding a knife began stabbing through the tent, eventually bludgeoning the group with an unidentified blunt object. That night, 3 of the teens would be killed, while 1 managed to survive with substantial injuries. When asked about what he had seen that night, the lone survivor claimed that the man who attacked them wore all black and had large red eyes. Based on his accounts and other potential sightings, a sketch of what this man may have looked like was made, and the results were unusual at best. With this man going on to garner the appropriate nickname of Bug Eyes McLip due to just how unnatural his facial features appear, especially his eyes. In fact, there's something unnatural about all of these recreations, which begs the question, did any of them actually work? Well, surprisingly, out of these 4 people, 3 have been identified.
Really?
Christy Crystal Creek would go on to be identified as Janet Lee Lucas, a 23-year-old who would be the last identified victim of serial killer Wayne Nance, with this identification being the result of improved forensic genealogy.
How?
The second and most notorious example would go on to be identified as Jenny Gomez, who had been strangled by Steven Zilich.
Hold on. How? I'm serious. How? How do we get from this?
And most notorious example would go on to be identified as Jenny Gomez.
To her. That makes no sense. How did you see her in that thing? How? I mean, it's a good thing they were able to identify her, but there's no resemblance. How? How did that even work? And let me guess, the third one is probably the killer, the most detailed one, and it was probably completely useless because no one found him. That's my guess.
Gomez, who had been strangled by Steven Zilich, a man dubbed the Wisconsin Suitcase Murderer. And despite this recreation appearing to look nothing like Jenny, it was actually the sole reason that she was identified, as one of her family members ended up recognizing these overpronounced cheekbones and matching them to Jenny. And then there was Septic Tank Sam.
See, I knew it.
Gordon.
the most detailed one of the killer, that dude didn't get identified. What the fuck? But instead, these weird ass, uncanny looking recreations of the things that barely seem even human managed to yield results. How does this work? I don't understand.
Edwin Sanderson. Thanks again to genetic genealogy, as a sample of his sister's DNA was eventually used to prove that this was in fact him, though it's still unknown who killed him or why. Which leaves just this final person, the killer of at least 3 people. He, unfortunately, has never been identified, and this isn't too surprising, as the features of this person just seem impossible. He just looks far too strange to be real.
I mean, yeah, sure, I mean, it looks like a caricature or something, but I mean, the others had, you know, features that made no sense, like the nose from the lady, you know, that's not normal at all. There's no one with a nose like that, I bet. Well, except Michael Jackson, but that's not his real nose, you know. It's just all the nose jobs fucked it up. But you know, this, I mean, doesn't it yeah, sure, the eyes are a little bit smaller and the lips are a bit wide and stuff like that, but I mean, it looks more human than the other recreations, you know. And why does this not yield any results while the other ones worked? My brain can't compute that. How does it work?
Right? Well, even though he hasn't been positively ID'd, it doesn't mean that he hasn't been potentially photographed. Shortly after the teens were murdered, a funeral was held in their remembrance, for which a large crowd of locals were in attendance.
Oh man, is he in the picture?
With this photo of the crowd being snapped. And standing there, in the center of it all, was a man whose features looked impossible.
What the fuck?
This man would never be photographed again, and his connection to the case has never been officially confirmed, leaving these murders unsolved to this very day.
He also doesn't look like the picture. It doesn't look human, but in the picture he does. You know, he looks like a goofy human. But in the drawing, I mean, and in this picture, what? So what? Okay, this whole thing is confusing me. It's really, really confusing. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, the credits. Man, this video was a ride, a wild ride indeed. It started off extremely fucked up, and
this video is
shut up. And
this video is sponsored by
Can you shut the fuck up? And it ended. It's interesting, you know. The first one was really depressing. The second one was, you know, losing my faith in humanity type of thing. The third was the sponsored segment. That doesn't count. Well, the actual third one was extremely aggravating. The fourth was just mysterious, I guess. And the last one is just horror. It's awful. Yeah, so interesting progression of emotions throughout the video. So that's interesting. But I think it's easily one of the darkest so far. I don't remember being such extremely dark stories in the previous ones, or maybe it's just, you know, me, I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking susceptible or whatever the name is. Susceptible, I don't know. Today more so than usual. I don't know. But yeah, I think these videos are still pretty important as a reminder of, you know, stuff like don't go into the catacombs and stuff like that, and also to, you know, help make it more to spread, you know, the stories and stuff like that. So in the case of the poor child that just, you know the story where I was so fucking angry, you know, so we can hopefully, you know, get it big enough so, I don't know, we can force justice to be served, you know, by pressuring the government, you know, showing, hey, this shit is fucking outrageous. Why is she still free? Why? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But anyway, I think these videos have their place. I think it's actually a good thing that Nick Crowley is making these videos and bringing attention to these stories and stuff like that. Especially for, it's quite beneficial, I think, for, you know, like the catacombs one. I think it's really sad if someone, you know, dies and no one knows, you know, no one knows who the hell is that, who was that person, and is never going to be found again, you know, stuff like that, you know. So at least we can, I don't know, feel like, you know, we saw her, she's not forgotten, you know, stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah, so I think that's all I can muster. My brain is fried. This was difficult to get through because of how dark some of these stories are. Yeah, so I think I added enough commentary to explain how I feel about everything, so I think I don't need to reiterate all these things here at the end. Click in the video description on the link to get to the original video by Nick Crowley and leave a like, comment and subscribe. Tell him he's doing a good job, and praise to the families of the people that passed away, died, were killed, stuff like that. And leave a comment for me in my comment section telling me what you want me to, you know, what you want to see, you know, what do you want to see, man? You want to see me react to Minions compilation or something like that, you know, stuff like that. Just, you know, write down what you want me to see, what you want to see me see. Get it? Because you want to see what I see and how I see it, like a reaction. So yeah. Alright, it feels wrong to say, but still, I gotta do my regular outro. Hope to see you next time. Small Penis Man out. Yeah.